This video opens with a fiery sunrise painting the grasslands yellow, revealing the lion's journey. Nature seems peaceful, but each hot wind signals a violent upheaval. The narrator reminds the audience to prepare themselves, because the storms of the lion family are not light. Immediately after, each moment of love, betrayal, and maturity will appear clearly under the lens. Male lion Glide returns to the pride after a half-year wandering journey, full of excitement for the reunion. Before he can roar in joy, he receives a fierce slap from the pregnant lioness. The majestic wide mouth suddenly turns into grievance, but instinct tells him absolutely not to react. It turns out that the wife is angry because her husband has been away for too long, leaving her to hunt for prey to feed the young cubs. During that half year, only 2 adult lionesses take turns giving birth, requiring a nanny to be on duty. The wife has to hunt herself. Meeting an adult zebra, lacking teammates, she had to return empty-handed many times. Therefore, when she saw her husband, she vented all her grievances with a slap like a restrained reproach. The lion cubs met their father for the first time, curiously jostling each other to sniff his messy mane, sparkling with innocent eyes. The male lion lowered his head, growled gently in response, officially taking on the role of protecting the cubs. At the same time, the 3 male lions dispersed, one deciding to find a new territory and mate. Glide followed the African buffalo, hoping to meet the leader of the tusk's wife and restore the nest. When they met, the female lion greeted her husband with a unique kiss, a strong bite on the dusty mane of the long journey. The buffalo feast nearby made the taste of reunion more savory, although the aftertaste of reproach still lingered. Not long after, 2 other young male lions returned, thirsting to possess the vibrant female lions. Their roars startled the young male lion Obus in the pride, who understood the harsh warning. The message was clear. The 2 vagrants would take over, forcing the young local male to leave home and become independent. Although he was the eldest son of the leader, Obus understood that he was not strong enough, so he hugged his mother one last time and then trudged away. Half a year passed. The Glide Lion Pride welcomed a new litter of cubs. Joy filled the red sand yard at sunset. In that litter, Thad was growing rapidly, his shaggy mane starting to stand up, his curious eyes sparkling with the desire to explore. He often stole glances at the lionesses, making her both curious and wary of the fiery young man. In the eyes of the old Lion King, that behavior was a potential threat, even though Thad was his own son. One day, Thad went to the riverbank, trying to impress the lioness by gently playing with her while she was drinking water. This arrogant action caught the king's eye, immediately igniting a thunderous lesson. Thad's mother stood helplessly by, her heart aching as she saw her son being knocked down, dust flying everywhere. After the beating, the old king decided to chase Thad away, understanding that the survival instinct forced his son to learn to be independent. The next morning, Thad trudged across the border, bewildered by the vast grassland he had never explored. The fear made Thad roar for his mother, for his father, but only the wind blowing through his mane responded coldly. The hyenas and cheetahs loomed in the distance, reminding him that a lonely person is always the perfect target. A few days later, his stomach growling with hunger, Thad drank water by the river to stay alive, avoiding his father's territory to avoid confrontation. Luckily, his father was away, meaning that the old buffalo carcass was somewhere, not showing up to chase away his lost son. Thad took the opportunity to hang around, hoping to find some leftover meat, but the scene only had a fishy smell before it was all eaten away. At that moment, he saw a pack of hunting dogs tearing apart the carcass of a baby giraffe, the mother giraffe trying to fight back. Thad patiently hid, waiting for the hunting dog to be chased by the mother deer, then quickly seized the spoils. The first meat meal after wandering around was savory. He growled softly, hugging the deer carcass to enjoy the hot blood of independence. However, the carcass of the fawn was only enough for 2 days. Hunger would surely return to torment his stomach. Looking at the crowded herd of buffalo in front of him, Thad knew that charging in alone was no different than giving up his life to the horns. While scouting, Thad saw the buffalo herd panic because another young male lion suddenly rushed in. That person was the male lion who had left the Bioba herd, inexperienced but with fierce, youthful spirit. Thad had to decide, kill or support. In the end, his pack instinct urged him to rush into the buffalo hunt together. The two lions divided the work of the carcass. Thad bit the thigh, the new friend pinched the nose, limiting the screams, avoiding pulling the robber. Soon, the adult buffalo collapsed. The sky echoed with the victorious roar of the Young Lion Alliance. That was the first time they coordinated to bring down a large prey, proving the important strength of unity in the wild. Many years passed, Thad met a charming lioness, urging him to stay and get married, leaving the wandering circle. He did not know that she already had 3 husbands, the true masters who ruled this dangerous territory. The 3 lions had not discovered the intruder, but the patrol would severely punish any wanderer. One day, Thad and his mate sat under the tree, drunk on love, unaware that the 3 rulers were approaching. His mate immediately ran away, leaving Thad alone to face the 3 commanders' fierce anger. The unequal battle broke out. Dust rose like a whirlwind. Thad's mane was stained with blood, streaks of red. Despite being cornered against a tree, Thad roared hoarsely, fought back desperately, and tore the nose off a large opponent. The wound caused 3 native lions to stop, enough for Thad to take advantage of the gap to escape. He dragged his ragged body through the thorn bushes, blood dripping from his fur, but his determination to survive was stronger than the pain. Reaching the narrow stream, he collapsed and gasped, licking his wound, letting the cool water wash away the strong blood dust. Although exhausted, he understood that he could not linger, because the smell of blood lured the hyenas to come and take the life of the dying man. Thad stood up, fought painfully, and walked through the tall yellow grass, silently promising not to believe in young love. Along the way, the memories of his father, the fallen buffalo, and the old alliance reminded him that comrades were more important than passion. He was determined to find his old companions, hoping to survive together instead of confining himself to dangerous territory. On the way, Thad sprinkled water along the way, both to quench his thirst and eliminate the smell of blood, and to avoid revealing his whereabouts to the enemy. At night, he hid under the acacia bush, listening to the wind carrying the sound of hyenas, determined to keep his life until dawn. The dawn dyed the distant sky red. He closed his eyes, remembering his mother's face, his father's mane, and the loving slap at the beginning of the story. Thad understood that all events originated from that moment, and from the decision to leave the pack to grow up. Without regret, he moved forward, hoping that one day he would become a leader with a thick, majestic mane. In the sound of larks singing, he realized that the grasslands were wide, but the path of male lions was always the same. It was a cycle of wandering, forming alliances, hunting, loving, confronting, and then wandering again when forced. Behind him, the sun rose high, shining a new ray of sunlight, illuminating Thad's messy mane, sparkling with hope for life. He continued walking, each scar telling the story of growing up, his breath reminding him that survival was the art of perseverance. Along the road, a flock of crows swooped down on a pile of old bones, reminding him that those who were negligent of danger would soon perish. Thad roared softly to the sky, taking it as an oath to put the future in his own claws and mane. He practiced the habit of hiding dung under the bushes, avoiding the root, the survival skill with the lone lion. That skill gradually turned Thad from a fugitive into a wise hunter, preparing to continue writing the saga of life. And the screen closed. The roar of the steppe reminded people to value the strength of the community and the freedom to adventure. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.